Hi and welcome back to my solo playthrough of Crusader Kings. This is already episode 3. We are entering era 2. And there were, I believe, two things that I kind of missed but caught during editing. And I'm actually recording this video before you had the chance to actually check out episode 2. So there might be even more mistakes I might have missed. But still, I'm really eager to keep playing. The very first thing was around this unrest. You do remember that I have basically given my last coin away to an attempt, I believe. I think I added a die to an intrigue roll, to a plot I have done. That was okay. The thing is, I also spent 2 coins to counter a plot against myself, an assassination. But because I don't have the spy master, I wasn't allowed to do that. And because I was not able to hinder, I think it was the Italian player, to murder my heir, I think I will retrospectively give me the money back, which ultimately means I was able to spend 1 coin to keep this foot soldier alive here. So we are bringing it back, and this means we are not in unrest and we still have a mobilized territory. So sorry for that. I really have to remember those. But I believe apart from that, there was one more, let's say a little bit minor thing. When Roberto left the court of Italy, he basically, I think he ran away to France. They got a casus belli against Italy because of that. But we also should have added the trade token from Roberto into the trade bag of France. So that's something I have done already. But I think apart from that, I should be pretty much okay now, at least I hope. If there is something else, then yes, this has to wait for maybe the next video. Let's see about that. But okay, with these things settled, I should be very much good to go into the next era. We are the starting player, because we performed the last successful crusade against, what was it, Aleppo. Exactly. I've already prepared our deck of cards. I did also the same for the iPlayer, mainly, basically off camera. So now we can marry in the Dynasty phase, and we can also, we could also create a duchy for Bertha, but yeah, not sure about this. She is inbred, and while she was our second born, I was really able to trade her off to Spain, for example, for some coin. But now she's our only child, so I think I'm not going to do that. So I guess I'm going to marry her to the patient Philip here, which would give us a pact. Yes, there is always a chance that they might go after this pact, but I think I want the green token now. It's not going into my bag, but if she becomes queen, then we would get this trade token into our dynasty packet back accordingly. So I think, yeah, let's do that. I guess we are down to 1 coin, so we are not paying anything. I'm okay with that. If it's not happening, it's not happening. So let's simply draw 1 trade token. It's really a big bag of tokens now already. And yeah, we are cultivated. Amazing. Okay, so we were able to marry Philippe to Bertha. So we are adding him, I don't know, down here. He is patient, and again, if she becomes queen, we are adding both of those tokens into our dynasty pack bag. And last but not least, we are forming a pact with Burgundy, which is now interesting because this pact with Burgundy would also help us if we are ever going to invade Lombardy here. It's a castle, but that's pretty much offsetting things. Yeah, I have to think about that actually. Okay, that's definitely nice, and I think that's our marriage attempt, and was a successful one. And then it's Spain, who is the only one who can marry someone, and it's lustful Fernando here. And there is a perfect candidate for Fernando, and that's humble Ines down here, right next to him. So a pact there would definitely be great, actually. So we are not countering this, so there it's a green token, which is why they have to go through a trade check. It's ambitious. This doesn't help. It would have helped them for the castle they tried to build a last round. But yeah, Swordmaster, this truly impresses a humble person, right? But okay, that's good enough for me. So Fernando is marrying Ines. I think we can immediately put a pact token onto Aragon. And yeah, this goes next to Fernando. Nicely done. Okay, then we are plotting, and I think our first card will be the Mobilize Invade, and the second one will be a tax card. I think the order of things doesn't matter too much here, but I think we want, yeah, I think we have to do that. And I guess again, I did a very stupid thing actually in respect to my mobilization. That's really a piece which I played very, very poorly during the very first era. So let's hope I can correct that this era. So then it's us. We are the starting player, which means we are drawing the topmost card here. We are acting surprised. Oh, it's a Mobilize Invade. And in this case, we are mobilizing Bohemia. Of course, ideally, we are invading Hungary with our next action also. Off to the event. Your war plans spark angry discussions in your council. One of your councillors is killed in the heated debate. You decide who loses his life. Yeah, kind of a bad thing, but yeah, our court physician unfortunately dies. Terrible enough, but again, I was not going for this inventor victory point, at least I don't think so. But that was basically our first action card. Over to Italy, and I believe due to the special ability here that they got from Antioch, they mixed in an additional war card into that deck at the start of the era. So let's see what this is. But this is a build and develop, which means they are building a castle, and I think we are building a castle here in Venice. Of course, they have to succeed first. I'm not paying, I don't have the money anyway, so let's forget about that. So we are drawing 2 tokens. That's the first one, Deceitful. In this case, Deceitful doesn't help them. And second, yeah, but they are strong. It seems they're building the castles themselves. Okay. So they're already at 2 castles, so that's really not looking great. But overall, I believe his trade back is not bad, actually. So there is that. Then as for the event, your king goes on a royal hunt. Make a trade check. No gold can be spent on the check. And I think this is now really a point. The rules say that the AI always get an extra draw. But there are some certain events where you need a counselor, or where the card tells you you're not allowed to buy for extra things. So I think this is what I definitely did play wrong. So in this case, I will only draw 1 back out of here. But this also means I cannot pay against that, because you have to allow that player always to draw as many tokens from the back as the test requires successes. So in this case, it's a 1, but the king could really die at this point in time. And this, I might be terribly wrong, but otherwise this event would be completely pointless actually, and a lot of these advisors would be completely pointless. But let's check out what we have. The steward, no, that's when you build. Oh, I forgot that. Gives you an extra token draw when you build, but he was successful anyway. And bam, he is ambitious, which means this is a red token. There are no critical traits on this one here. It would be telling me in the test that this is the case. So in this case, no. He dies. Which means all those H tokens simply go away. We have pretty much a new king. That's really good for us, because this also means they were not able to remove red tokens from the trade back. Margarita is also removed from the game for now. She could come back later on, but she's not getting a sibling. Only, let's say, potential brothers. But in this case, Umfredo is now the new king. And this means we are adding 2 red trade tokens into the trade bag of Italy. I think this was definitely a win. And yeah, definitely a very ugly turn of events. Again, that's my ruling here, that I'm not doing a second draw for them. But I do think that this is the right thing to do, quite honestly. Otherwise, a lot of these advisors would be really, really pointless. Okay, then it's France, and oh, they're going for a crusade. Are you serious? I mean, this is Louis IX who he has to send to the crusade. Again, I'm not going to pay anything. I'm down to 1 money anyway. So we are making our attempt towards Tripoli, it seems. 1 gold. Okay, they do not care about gold actually. This is really, really nice actually. So yeah, the king could also die actually. And then we are running into a succession crisis for France. And then I think they're pretty much out of the game. Okay, we are drawing 2 tokens here. But no, they are honest, and I think honest is not a crucial trait. No, it's kind of cruel. That's basically helping you, but in this case, he was successful. Nicely done. We are adding the trait token in there. Deceitful, so he already has 2, and I think you can't have more than 4 tokens on that track. So 4 more to go. Yeah, I think this game could be over relatively, because so far every Crusader attempt was successful. But okay, that was that. Let's see what the event says. It says, one of your territories is truly blessed by your actions in the Holy Land. Place 4 harvest tokens. Okay, we are not doing this. We are simply ignoring. That's definitely kind of a bummer for them. But yeah, can't help it. They do not care about taxation in any way. Okay, then it's Spain, but before we forget, they are going to be the starting player, or the first player, that is. Let's draw the card for Spain, and they're also going for a mobilize invade. Again, he would now mobilize another territory, or would invade an independent territory with another player has a pact, with which another player has a pact. That's not the thing. This is a pact for themselves, and they can also not invade France right now, and this is not a pact here. So in this case, they would mobilize, but they cannot maintain more than 2 mobilized countries right now. So it seems they are not doing anything. This really kind of feels weak, actually. I mean, I get it that they want the pact here, because again, the pact helps you in your attempts. And what do we have here? Buck or so fly. I don't know what this is. And should I now overrule this and really go after Aragon here instead, or should I follow those? Again, the way how I see it, the AI is not necessarily here to win the game. They are here to be a challenging opponent to myself. Not everyone is really driven by getting to be the whatever emperor here, the king or so. That's at least how I see that, which is why I think I will follow this at this point in time. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's not do that. And then it's the event, which is a terrible event. Oh wow, this is really bad, and we just lost our court position. Oof. Oh gosh. The spouse of the next player's king, or ruling queen, of course, gives birth to a healthy child. But sadly, the mother dies during labor. The player draws a random character card. We don't have the card position, so we can't counter this. The random card and a random trait token for the child. The mother character is lost and the character card discarded. If the player has a court physician, yeah, again, we don't have that, which means we are giving birth to another child. That's the good news. Matilda. Let's also draw a random trait token. Shrewd. Okay, that's a green one. I like that. I like that. But this also means, unfortunately, that Gertrude is killed. No longer with us. Now, that's a bummer. We can marry again at the start of the next round, but every other childbirth event now basically tells us, yeah, we have to skip that. If a similar event comes up now from Spain with the next card, then it would affect the Italy player, because it's always saying the next player. And if I can't satisfy that requirement, it moves on. But okay then, let's do the second turn of the first round. Oh, wait a second. No. Of course, this was the first turn. We are moving back to France, actually. They have become the starting player, of course. So let's see what they do. And that's also a mobilize invade. Yeah, I think this is bad news for Burgundy, I believe. Exactly. Their first priority would be to invade a territory where they have a pact with, but in this case the next one would be where another player, so this is Burgundy. They don't get a bonus here. I'm not paying for that. They still need to be successful, of course. So let's see what they get. I believe there is nothing. No, there are no help for him. And this is Lustful. This certainly doesn't help. And then it's, yeah, Temperate. I believe this was the token they got from the Italian player. That's kind of a bummer. So we don't have a pact. The only thing I have to check now is, do I get a casus belli now against France? Because I had a pact with Burgundy. And no, I couldn't find that. So I guess the answer is no. We have just lost our shield. That's all that is. But of course, it's also a victory point for France again, who are basically back to their, not really, it's starting plus the one, the inventor one, which they still had. But then we have the event. King killed. Your king dies on the field of battle. Discard the character card of the king and his/her spouse, of course. Perform a succession ceremony to determine the new king. And there is no succession ceremony, which in this case means there is a succession crisis. So they are both dead. Wow, that's a very eventful round actually. I'm simply gone from history again. We can't assign a new king right now, which means they have to lose basically 2 territories. So it's half but rounded up, which you can still maintain. You would also lose gold, but that's not a thing. Of course, we will hold on to Paris. I think we are not fancying to lose too much at this point in time, so we're giving this away. And maybe even this here, because then making it much easier for Italy, though, to invade. It's an intraport, or making it easier for me. I think I will roll a die. I think we will hold on to the, or the lowlands could be also something which, or low countries, which we could also, it could be all 3 actually. I don't really see, so I'm rolling my little J-play die. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's gone. 1, 2, so the Low Countries are gone. We are immediately bringing out new neutral territories. So in Toulouse, it's Constanza, the Lame. And in the Low Country, it's Jacques, the Chased Jacques. Okay, that's a green token. Unfortunately, we are not first. For the next marriage attempt, yeah, we could marry her to Matilda, actually. Another green token. Always nice. So that was that. Yeah, we have to draw, of course, a new king or queen. Let's see what it is. And Lucienne, it's in fact a queen. What do you think about that? Let's see what trade she gets. This token goes immediately into the trade bag. And she's a scholar. Okay, that's at least a small comfort to an otherwise awful event, actually. But basically ending the round for France. Over to Spain, we are going for another plot overthrow. And again, they are trying to murder my children. She is not the heir to the throne. I constantly put this outside of order. I always said throne to the heir. Hilarious. No, she's not the heir to the throne, which means 1 success is enough. We can't pay, we don't have the money, and we don't have the spy master. So this is the first one, and it is deceitful, which means this is a critical trait. That's good enough for a plot event. So unfortunately, Matilda was killed. Wow, that's so massive. Very, very bad round, actually. But okay, we still have our event self. Leprosy. Your king falls ill with leprosy, leading to eventual ugly, lingering, and friendless death. You get the ugly trait, and unless you have the court physician card, also take 1 age token. So I think what happens now first, we will definitely get the ugly trait. So this definitely goes into the trade bag of Spain. The problem is the king gets his 5th token, so he also dies. Well ahead of time, because he got another age token through different events. So Sancho is dead. Constanza is basically, I don't know, she gets some nice little home. Fernando will step up, so with Lustful and Humble, which we are now adding to the trade bag here accordingly. Wow, really an eventful round so far, but really that's really the beauty of this game, enjoying the chaos. But okay then, it's back to us. We are playing the taxation. We get 1 extra because we were successful at Aleppo. We have 4 territories under our control, which means we are getting 5 coins. Unfortunately, the bank doesn't kick in. We didn't have 3 coins beforehand. And this also means, yeah, the new king Umfredo is blessed with a child. And that's Isabel the Pious. Okay, so at least he was lucky in that regard. Then I think we might as well stay here, because it's their turn actually. And then we are finishing the round. Yeah, indeed. So again, another plot overthrow. Maybe I should show this to you. And for this, he's actually trying to murder the king or queen who has the lowest amount of heirs. It's not us. That's good. So we are out. We have still Bertha. So he wants them to lead into a succession crisis. So it's either Lucien or Fernando here. So I have to roll a die. And I have this lovely four-sided die here. Or should I go? Let's stick to this J-Play die, right? It's a nice die. And yeah, it has my logo here on the one. That's the one, by the way. So 1, 2, 3, it's Lucien. 4 to 6, it's Fernando. And bam, wow, France again. I mean, it does make sense taking out the competition. I wouldn't necessarily do that in a multiplayer game. I'm typically not hitting someone who's already on the floor in these kind of games. That would feel really, really lame. But in this case, I couldn't care less. Lucienne is being killed. She wasn't able to solidify her reign, basically. And this also means they have to lose another territory now. Again, I will roll the die. 1, 2, 3, 4 to 6. Okay, Lorraine is gone. We are drawing a new card, and this is Bertrand. And we have to draw a random trade token here. Wow, the world has completely changed in this case. And she's ugly. She's really not ugly. Judging the artwork here, she's actually quite beautiful. But yeah, I get it. Maybe these are different standards in older times. Wow, that was really massive. Of course, we still have to draw a new queen / king. And in this case, we have Henri. And Henri is humble. So we're adding the humble trait to a very impressive trait back now for France, actually. But wow, that was pretty brutal. But of course, we are not done yet. It basically says the other requires a child. Okay, that's now really where this order kicks in. So it's the other player. Neither France nor Spain has a child, which means it's over to Bertha here. And Bertha gets a tutor, it seems, a church tutor. Next player's heir to the throne is tutored by a priest. That child gets the pious trait in addition to any other traits. Which is really, really nice, actually, because it kind of offsets the inbred token that she got. So that's really, really good. But that's basically the end of the first round. So again, we do have to pay the upkeep, which we will do, of course. So we are getting paying 5, getting 3 back. So we are down to 4 doubloons. That's now the thing. Do I want to invade twice? We still have Denmark up here, and we have Hungary down here. Question is, how soon do I want to move down to Italy, giving them... that's the thing. Maybe we should really start going after Denmark, which also means, should I really have done that? I think I forgot the Denmark up there, that it's still there. And yeah, the world has changed since then. I think for now I will leave them where they are. I think I will still go for another tax card maybe, which should help me. But okay, let's start the next round. And we are starting with the dynasty phase. And Henri wants a wife. That much is clear. Looking at the board, though, there are definitely options, but he's only marrying a spouse with, honest and ambitious. Never marry a spouse with other red traits. And I think we don't have that here. If there would have been a green female candidate, he would marry her. But in this case, it means, yeah, it will be a random one, actually. So we are doing a trade draw here. Of course, we are not paying anything. And no, he's humble. That's totally fine. So he is allowed to marry from his own deck of cards. Melisande, not to be confused with Melisandre. She gets a random trade token, which immediately goes into the bag, and she is honest. Okay, it's another green token, critical trait, which would fail for a plot overthrow. But that was the marriage attempt, not too bad. Spain is out, they don't have any kids or siblings. So it's basically up to us. Do we want to marry someone with a red trait or don't we? Oh, I forgot actually. No, I did forget. We have to add trade tokens actually. Age tokens. All the other kings were new, so that's their first age token actually. But for us, it's the 4th one. Oh, I almost forgot that. So I'm allowed to remove one red. So this could now change things because this would then allow me... but These are all pretty good trade tokens. So do we want to replace one of those with another one here? What are our plans now? We have 2 times cruel. Do we want 2 times cruel in here, or do we say 1 is enough? I say 1 is enough. We will remove the starting one actually, so that we do remember where this came from. So it's really a very optimized back, it seems. So we are doing good. Question now really still stands. Or do we want to go for a random marriage? We are going to die relatively soon, basically at the end of this round anyway, unless we are somehow removing an H token. But I think this can only really happen through a Crusade card. But I think our Crusade card doesn't allow that. Or should we go for a random? I think then we can also go for a random. No, let's go for a random marriage, which means we are drawing. Do we pay? No, we are not paying. We are not paying, and we are clever. We are absolutely able to find a spouse. And that's Anna. Okay, let's see what Anna brings to the party. Not sure what's dropping here all the time. And Anna is, imbecile. Okay, we are clever. She's imbecile. Nice match. So it was a red token after all, but I gambled here. It was still okay, I guess. So that was our marriage attempt, and I think, yes, Italy does have a child, Isabel, and he definitely wants to marry. He's going to the closest territory. So he's focusing on Swordmaster. What was the other one? Strong, Cruel, and Swordmaster. None are out here, so he's going for the closest one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So it's, I think, Garnier. 1, 2, 3. I think it's Garnier, and that's a green token, actually. Want to know? I think it's Garnier. Yeah. So they have to draw still. I'm not paying. And okay, he was clever enough. So he is going to marry Garnier to Isabel. So let's place a token here. So the next line of kings, queens comes with very good genes, it seems. Wow. And I believe that was the dynasty phase. Again, I could assign a duke or so, but let's not do that just yet. We may want to simply go for the plot phase now of the game, or planning phase. I think it's plotting phase. No, it's plotting phase. I think we are starting with a mobilize invade. We can, that's what I keep forgetting, we can do 2 invades or invade actions with 1 invade action card. That is, if we are mobilized, and we are mobilized. So I think it was still okay. And then we are going to tax afterwards with this one, because then we still get at least something out of this card. Of course, everything could go sideways with this, but I do feel that this is the right thing to do. And then again, we are starting all of the normal turns with France, with the new king and queen. Let's see what they do. They also mobilize, invade. And in this case, they are going to go for this territory here, which Italy has a pact with, Aquitaine. So we are drawing 2. I will not pay against that. That's totally fine by me. And yeah, with Humble, that's totally okay. They wouldn't be allowed to build with that token, but that was good enough. So they're getting Aquitaine right back, and this token goes back to Italy. Nicely done. And then friends like these. Self requires a pact. Oh, they don't have a pact actually, right? Yeah, they don't have a pact with any of those. So this would be a very punishing one for us, or maybe for Italy, but in this case, we can simply ignore that. Then it's Spain. They will build, develop. And yes, they're totally trying to build something in Navarra here. So we have to draw 2 trades. Do they have something? Spy Master and Plate Armor? No, they don't. They don't. So let's see. That's the first draw. That's Lustful. This doesn't have, it's a critical trait, but not the right one here. And Ignorant. No, again, they were not able to build this castle. I really do think their trade back is horrible. But then, let's see what the event says. Stormy marriage requires a spouse. He's married to Ines. Your king's marriage is sadly a very stormy endeavor. Add 1 H token. And wow, really not sure what's going on in this family here. He's aging like crazy. Then it's us here. We were going to mobilize and invade. Again, we can do that basically for each territory that's mobilized, but we have to assign the mobilized territories to the attack. So if we want to support for another, let's say I really was going after Italy, then I really have to make a call if I use whatever an adjacent troop to support me here, or if they want to go somewhere else. But I think in this case it's totally okay. So we are definitely invading Hungary. We have a pact with them, which means we don't need to go through a test. So let's simply add one of those horses. But up here we have to actually pay, and I think we do want to pay. So I'm paying 1 to get 1 extra trade draw. I think again my back is pretty much okay, but we just added a red token in there. So yeah, let's not take any chance. But no. We are so clever that we are basically successful. So this goes back to Italy. Again, I don't think we are getting a castle, or they are not getting, I think they have one anyway against us. And in this case, I think we are not going to move the mobilized troop up here. Okay, that was actually quite nice, because this definitely helps me with my upcoming tax event. Cool. Divine Inspiration, the other. The king of the next player receives guidance from God. That player may immediately draw a new action card to his hand. It cannot be a text card. So I think I have to roll a die actually. It doesn't really change a lot of things. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have a 4-sided die here, and that's 2. So we're adding another war card. Is that they are sticking together to the Italian player's deck. So I will shuffle this. So I think we have added 2 extra war cards this round to their deck of cards. But keep in mind, at some point during the era, they have to go through a Crusade card. So again, if the last card they're drawing is not then the card, the Crusade card, then we have to keep drawing. So might not be as useful for them. But also not really a terrible event from our side. So that's basically the end of the round for us. I mean the turn. Let's see what Italy is doing. And they're going for a crusade. Interesting. Again, I'm not paying against that. That's fine, I guess, at least. And here I'm not sure, actually, if I want to send Garnier out or if I do want to send the King Umfredo instead. I mean, there are a lot of risks, and only having 1 child, you have seen that. So I could really poker here just to drive things a little bit, adding those green tokens into the bag. But with 1 child, if they would have 1 more child, then I would be okay, actually. But I think in this case... but it doesn't really matter, because yeah, the others would be siblings anyway, right? No, but I think even siblings would become a king. So no, let's send Garnier. Let's send Garnier out here to Biblios. So let's see, we are drawing 2 tokens here. Okay, that's the first one. And yeah, being brave, this certainly does help you here. Nicely done. So we are adding that ambitious trait now into the trade bag. We are adding 1 more shield in here and 4 more to go. 1 gold per castle when taxing. Again, they do not care about gold. And then as for the event, Turncoat Templars, you may replace 1 dynasty shield belonging to another player of your choice with a dynasty token of your own on the Crusade track. Oh, that's now really bad. And I think this is where I have to game this a little bit. He sees that I do have 6 territories out there, so I think he will totally go for me. So we are removing this and adding this. I'm not rolling the die here. I really have to make meaningful decisions for the AI. Wow, that was really brutal. Nicely done, yeah, I give you that. So that's basically the first turn of the game now done. And because I almost forgot, they did the successful thing. They're basically going again right away. They're going for a plot overthrow, which means they're going to manufacture a castle spell against us in this case. Again, I don't want to pay against that. Oh no, they already have one. What am I talking about? Yes, they got one when I failed my test. Oh, okay. So then let's move on. And yeah, again, they're trying to kill someone. Let's roll the die. 1, 2, 3, 4 to 6. Fused heirs, right? Yeah. 2 again. It's Henri. Ooh, okay. It's the king. So we need 3 successes now. Actually. Oh, did I play this incorrectly? Oh, I may have missed that. Now I see that. Ooh, I can't repair that. So let's simply carry on. I don't know. So we are drawing 4 tokens basically out of the bag. But that's the first success. Again, we need 3 successes with 4 draws basically. Another success because they're so deceitful. And then third one, it's strong. Yeah, that's not really the question. Oh, I'm really bad at this game, but so many things that are up in the air that I have to juggle. Yeah, I can't repair it, but this definitely means they are dead again. Wow, another succession crisis at the House of Capet. Those are being removed. I think I will now shuffle this deck of cards, actually the character cards from France, because I could really imagine that the first ones are coming back now, actually. So let's do that real quick. That's Catelyn, another queen. And Catelyn is, let's see, oh, charitable. But he is really lucky, the blue player that is, in respect to those trade draws. But we still have to remove one here. And I think we are going for Aquitaine, just because, yeah, he doesn't want to make it too easy for Italy here. Then we have to bring out a new card, Adelaide. I think we had her before. And she is a gardener, which seems to be a positive trait in this game. I'm relatively certain we can ignore the plague, a territory under your control. Plague outbreak, soaking one unrest token in one of your territories. Okay, no, we can do that. The unrest token in one of your territories. Any foot soldiers in the territories immediately remove. Yeah, okay. The plague is definitely important now. And again, I do think they want to harm me as much as possible, so they will place that plague token in here. So we are doing this plague outbreak, and it's also with unrest as far as I can remember, so that's a good thing for everyone actually. And then we are basically drawing for this one here. It could also fall into a thing, and we are doing 2 draws, and if it's failed we are adding also plague there. So this is the first one. That's deceitful. It's definitely a fail, but he's clever, so it's not failed. For all the others it doesn't really matter. It's only really mattering for our territories at this point in time. So this really didn't go his way actually. Okay, then it's France. Build and develop, and I think they're maxed out actually in respect to their inventions, aren't they? Didn't they have? No, right. No. Yeah, exactly. They missed one. Yeah, they could have room for one more invention, actually. And with everything that's going on, I believe the Royal Guard is the right thing to do. And I still really, I'm so regretting that I have missed to do the first trade check. I mean, Italy was really good, or is good in respect to those cruel, and the trade back is pretty good for them in order to do these things. So maybe they would have been successful anyway, but I need to pay attention. But this is not really the 6th development card for France, so they're maxed out. No one can, yeah, surpass them unless again we are taking stuff away from them. And here we have another Chancellor. Over to the event though. And yeah, this is not great news. Foreign spies requires invention. Yeah, they just got the 3rd one. Foreign spies steal secrets from your realm. The next player gets to randomly draw one of your invention development card and take it from you. And I think it doesn't matter which other plate armor, but they would redraw anyway. So let's see. Oh wow, that's tough. That's tough. But yeah, I really keep playing this to by the comma basically, following those rules. And this is the Royal Guard. Yeah, the Royal Guard goes over to Iberia actually. So again, they are down to only quote-unquote 5, which is still pretty good. But this now really ends the round for the France player already. Over to Iberia. And it's really so weird. Italy, the ferocious, the aggressive player, has so many war cards in their deck, and are not drawing those. The defensive player here, I think they have a standard deck of 3 war cards in their pile basically, and they keep on drawing those, and it's really not helping them. And the question now really is, should I keep going like this or not? Or should I really say, at some point in time, they do have to do something? The 2 turns in a row, 2 cards in a row, where they're not doing anything, this really feels very poor, very lame, very pointless. So I think they will go after this one here. After Aragon, and will take it over. They don't need a trade check for that, but I think they also have to keep going, right? I mean, even if they are defensive, this also kind of strengthens their position in the end, right? Maybe maybe I really should add that as at least as a last resort on all of those cards. If there is nothing to be done, then yes, they will then go for the easy prey at least. for Spain, that is. And they can build a castle here later on, for example, which would further strengthen their position anyway. Then it's off to Secret Rituals, and I really totally love the thematic artwork on those cards. While you are off waging war, a secret cabal grows stronger in your realm. Rumors spread of unspeakable rituals. You lose all pious trade tokens in your trade bag. And I think, okay, here I really now have to really have a close look at the bag, but there aren't any pious tokens in there. So I'm not really checking it out. Yes, it looks very reddish, but there wasn't any pious trade in there. So I think overall this was a very successful turn for Iberia. And then it's us. We are ending the round here with our text card here, which is, again, it's a bummer. It's because, again, we will lose 3 gold. That's really a problem. We have the bank, though, so that's a good thing. So we are getting 1 gold from the bank. We no longer get the extra coin from our, I think it was Aleppo, right? Unfortunately, this has been taken away from us, but we are at 4. And then we are controlling 6 territories. We are not in unrest. We are not with a plague, crop failure, whatever. So we would get 6, but we will lose 3 gold from that card. So I will simply get the 3 gold over. And then we are basically ending the round because this was the last action. We will have to pay the upkeep here. So we are paying 2 coins. So we still come out of this with 2 gold in total from that text card, even though that was really a horrible, horrible card. The question now really is, do we want to demobilize or not? I mean, here we still have something we could go after. That's a neutral territory. Here we have a lot of neutral territories, but I think we are actually out of war cards. If I recall that, I mean, we can check our hand of cards, of course. Yeah, we have built and developed Crusade, so we are. That's really a good point. I know we have to then remobilize. Maybe we will demobilize 1. We're already in a good shape, actually. Yeah, let's demobilize Saxony again. And I think we will stick here at Hungary. This could still help me, right? Yeah, I think that's what we need to do. And then we may want to really consider a pact sooner or later, because again, a pact will help us in our attempts to attack foreign players or other players here. Okay, let's deal with the age tokens, which means our king dies. Sad enough, he was a good king, and I think he ruled the kingdom quite well. So both those are out for now. Bertha becomes our new ruling queen. Philip will be her spouse. All 3 of those tokens will go into the bag. So overall, it's a win, right? I mean, it's a 2-to-1 kind of ratio, which we are adding in here. Of course, we are out of children. That's always a problem, especially because we have to go to a crusade this round. Okay, but also not the end of it, because we will send Philippe, actually. No, that's also good. We might lose our husband, but still, we will not going into a succession crisis, at least not this way. Yeah, if someone is plotting against that, then, yeah, of course, we are toast. Then let's add the age tokens in here appropriately. So Fernando would be already able to remove another red token from the bag if he's not going to die. I mean, our kings and queens dying like flies here. Obviously. So, oh, yeah, definitely something to keep an eye out. And then we are basically moving into the next, I think it's already the last round of this era, of the second era. So we are starting with the marriage phase. Italy would be first. I think there's nothing to marry, but here, of course, it's France, and they do have to marry. And there's a perfect candidate up here in the Low Countries, Jacques, who they will totally try to marry to. They have to go through a trade check again. They're already pretty beaten like a dog, so I'm not paying against that. So they are simply drawing 2 tokens, and yeah, they're really educated, well educated, so they were able, and it's the husband, it's a spouse exactly of the king, the queen, sorry, ruling queen. I'm not sure why I can't pick up those cards. I will do that off camera now, and we'll place him next to Cataline. Okay, that was important, but they really do need a child rather sooner than later. Okay, let's not forget to add the pact accordingly. And thinking about the situation here, for France, when you are assigning those AI characteristics, maybe you should assign the defensive one to France, at least in this particular scenario. I think being aggressive as France, could also help, of course, but you're getting flanked anyway from all sides. So maybe a defensive AI might be the one here, but I don't know. Doesn't really change things too much. It's pure chaos anyway. But I think those were all of the marriage, of course. I could adopt child now for money, but again, I still think I'm in an okay shape. So up next we are going to plot, and I think we will start with a crusade before we are losing anything here, and then we will go for a plot overthrow. I think this might really become handy, because otherwise Italy is awfully close to a victory point. They could gain it anyway now already, or maybe not. Now let's see about that. And that's basically that. We will start again with Italy, and finally they will go for a mobilize invade, and they have a mobilize territory down here. And I think because they are aggressive, I think they would rather go... Oh no, this is not adjacent. No, they have to go through Sicily first, actually. I think at the time when they mobilized, they didn't have this one here yet. So I think, yeah, they will totally invade Sicily. So we're adding another horse here. And I think in this case, they will move this one over to prepare them to go next. Again, they're the aggressive player, but that's their action. Yeah, I think that was important for them. And then it's child falls ill. One of your children, yes, he has one child. Severe pneumonia. If you have several, it's the one with the highest card number. Okay, only one child. Again, these are spouses of the children. They do not count as their child. Make a trade check. And again, this time I will still play that correctly. So it doesn't say we can add whatever more on this. Yeah, the court physician, exactly. Then they could go. But again, they don't have that, which means, and I think, that's an interesting one. I think we have to get rid of this card here now too. It's the next invade. This was the next invade, so this is gone. But yeah, let's see. We are drawing one. The child dies. Oh, that's really brutal again. And deceitful. This time it did hurt them. Oh boy, that was nasty. So Italy is losing 2 green tokens. So that was, oh wow, that's really nasty. Brutal events here. Wow. And then it's France. And oh boy, poof, plot overthrow. And I think I know what will happen. I'm relatively... Oh, wait a second. No. Okay. No, I think they are not adjacent to this territory here. Otherwise, they would have overthrown or tried to overthrow this territory here. But again, they are not adjacent. They don't have the spy master. I just checked that again. Oof. Okay. Would that... Yeah, if I would have, for example, refused to pay the upkeep for the... mobilized army there in Saxony, they would have then, this would have fallen into us, and then they would have gone there. Maybe that's something that you have to consider, especially when you know the AI rules. For a human player, you really don't know what happens, what they have on their mind. Everything is basically fair game. But here against the AI, you definitely do have some knowledge actually. But I do think in this case... And no, I think we are good. Overthrow a territory, though, that we checked. Manufacture a castle spell against the player with the most castles. That can be only Italy. Oh, are they now doing most castles? Do we say they have to have at least one castle, or would they simply go... Oh, that could be either way, actually. So I think in this case, yeah, really not terrible, actually. We don't have a child with a green trait on the board, so they're not murdering kings, actually, it seems. They could incite unrest, which I think is okay, but I guess they would go for a castle spelling. Now it's either Spain or myself, and because again I'm in the lead here, I have to be stopped. One thing I noticed now, of course, I forgot to award the Crusader achievement, which would have gone to France first, because I believe they did have 2 tokens on the crusade track first, but then they were surpassed by Italy anyway, because they have taken Aleppo away from me. So this should sit with Italy. And now it's basically tied. So we have 6 points from the territories. Italy has 5 points from the territory plus the Crusader one here. But I still do think, yeah, I think they already had a castle spell against Italy anyway already. So no, I think the decision there to gang up on me was correct. And then I think last thing is the event from this card, which simply gives a child Uraka to Iberian player. So let's see what they draw. Contend. I think they really do need some green tokens in their bag rather sooner than later. And yeah, then it is Iberia. I believe they haven't done their crusade this round yet. No, I don't think, or this era actually. So this is not a crusade. So the next card has to be a crusade. And I think we went there, which I don't know. Let's see about this. But they will again try to build and develop. And as they do see that there is some danger coming here from aggressive Italy, they will try to build a castle here in Aragon. So they're drawing 2. Again, I'm not countering this. Maybe I could counter later on. We'll need some money to counter a crusade or so. This is lustful. Again, this is not helpful, and this is ambitious. Critical trait for the build and develop. So they are successful in this instance. So that was really important. So they're building a castle here in Aragon, which again will later on protect them. Nice. But then you have the event. Guys, the castle, basically the castle they just built, actually. A human player wouldn't have, if they really would have to play this card, they wouldn't go for a castle in this event, I guess, at least. Let's see. Manure explosion. That sounds tasty. In a freak accident, a large manure pit at one of your castle explodes, laying waste to the castle. Turn the figure on its side. You can repair the castle in your next turn at the cost of 1 gold. Until you do, the castle has no effect. Okay, that, again, they will do that basically automatically, but if someone invades them, the castle really doesn't help them. So that's the only thing that we have to remember. So it's really not the worst. These events so hilarious. Okay, over to us. I believe we were going to a crusade and we get a child. Oh, royal twins even better. I think really this is a very, very powerful card actually. At this point in time, that is. But first of all, we have to survive the crusade. We will send Philippe here. That's our only male family member right now. We will definitely pay... that's the point now. If Philippe dies, yeah, then this event doesn't kick in. So I think we are paying actually 2. So we can do that. We need only 1 success. So we get 3 draws in total. So yeah, let's do that. Let's not take any chances here. Zidon. Okay, we could become ignorant. And 1 success is needed by invading enemy. I think that's as an ongoing ability. And that's cruel. This helps both in a crusade and a war. So that's perfect. We were able to, because we are so cruel, to go after them. So we are becoming ignorant. And finally we get to place a token back on the track. It was kind of embarrassing. Cool. Then we are triggering the event. We get 2 healthy kids. So we have Friedrich and we have Hugo. Okay. Let's not forget the trait draws. Here's for Friedrich. Club-footed. And Hugo is just. Now again, you can start to game this game a little bit and say, hey, Hugo is our favorite child and we want him to become heir, but he's our firstborn son. So Friedrich would become the heir and we could send him off to, I don't know, different parts of the world on the next crusade or so for him to hopefully die, so that maybe Hugo becomes our king, because we want the green tokens in our trade bag, obviously. But yeah, I know that sounds nasty, and it certainly is. But this also means we will become the starting player right away, so we might as well start the second turn of this final round. And yeah, we had the plot overthrow with a demon child, which could be nice. And the idea was to overthrow that territory that's currently in unrest. It comes with a castle, which means we have to add an additional success. I believe the plague doesn't really kick in here in any way, so you would need 2 success. We only get 1 free trade draw, so we have to spend 1 coin now anyway in order to be successful. And we could pay a second one now to see how it goes, basically upping our chances. The thing now really is, I don't think I want to do that. I have still 2 money left, and I think if something really terrible happens, we may want to be prepared. And I think, yeah, we are taking 1 victory point away from him, because again, the castle would remain here and we could then prepare to invade it next round, but I don't think that this is worth it. No, we are only spending the 1. Might be, again, a terrible, terrible mistake. But yeah, we will draw 2 tokens. And no one can pay against that, so we need 2 successes here because of the castle. No, this is cruel. This didn't help. We had so many cool tokens in that bag. So unfortunately, this is no longer here. They would gain a caster's belly against us because we failed at the plot attempt. But they already have one. So in this case, yeah, unfortunately, we pretty much spent an action and 1 gold for nothing. Then let's trigger the event, the Demon Child. The next player celebrates the birth of a healthy child. But there's something odd about it. Draw a random character card. The child gets the possessed trait. If the possessed child becomes king, remove any pious trait tokens from the trait bag. The player cannot get the pious trait as long as he has possessed king. When the possessed king dies, remove the possessed trait token from the trait bag. Save this card as a reminder. Nasty, but this was the main reason actually why I used this card or chose this card instead of, I think it was a build and develop, but this seemed to be a very cool card. So this is the child, which is Felicia, and again she is possessed. So when she becomes the ruling queen, we'll put it in, and then we will have to remove all pious traits from the trait bag. And I think as long as she is the king or the ruling queen, sorry, we can't add pious trait tokens into the bag. Really so highly thematic. Love that a lot. But that's basically our round, right? For us, that is. So we will stay here with Italy. And are you kidding me? They don't get the war cards. I think they have 6 war cards in their deck, or 5 or so. It's really crazy. So again, they try to murder one of our kids. They could also go for Spain, actually. Maybe, that's a good point. Maybe they should. I still have an heir. That's the thing. And Spain doesn't. Still, I'm in the lead. So in this case, it could be both ways. And I'm only mildly in the lead. So I'm not hugely in the lead. I'm only mildly in the lead. So I guess, but on the other hand, I just tried to overthrow the territory. Should I roll the die? That's truly tough to decide. But I want a challenge. No, I will accept this. I do have a caster's belly against them already anyway, so I couldn't gain anything from that. I don't have the Spy Master, which means I have to draw basically only 1. They're drawing 2 tokens, but they only need 1 to be successful. And again, I mean, they have 2 in there, but it's always the first token they're drawing from this bag. So our favorite child, Hugo, just passed away. Poor him. And that's basically the action. Then it's the event itself requires a child. Yes, he has a child. The possessed Felicia, which might be good for him now. Your heir to the throne is influenced by one of the court's pleasure givers. The child gets the lustful trait. Okay, no, it's not really. Maybe I was thinking maybe she's running off or so, but in this case, no, it's getting worse. She's also getting lustful on top of being possessed. But okay, this was Italy's action. Then we are moving over to France, and that's a build and develop. And again, I think they will go for the 6th card here. And I think it's the Navy in this case, because that's a card that will actually help them. So we will reveal a new card instead of the Navy, and that's a Marshal. But let's deal with the event. And I believe we know this one. This time, unfortunately, it hits Spain. Iberia, a child of the next player's king, developed unusual intelligence. That player decides which child, if there are several, the child gets the scholar trait. Here you go. And she is content and scholars. Wow, also a very good genes, very good genes. So now he's almost hoping that he's dying actually to get those 2 trade tokens into the trade bag. Oh yeah. Then I think, yeah, we can stay here. But the first thing they do is they will spend 1 virtual buck to, basically repair their castle here. And then I think they really do have to go on a crusade, which means we are drawing cards until we find it. Would be another plot, which would be pretty bad, maybe. I don't know. Mobilize, invade, and here it's the crusade, a divine marriage. Okay, don't know what it is, but first of all, they will have to be successful here. Again, not paying against that. And here is the first token, and yeah, being generous does help. So they get the cruel, so another red token that goes into their bag. But so far, for the most part, they're doing actually okay. And they would now gain an extra trade draw when they do an invade. That's not really great for a defensive player, obviously. They will become the starting player, which I guess is okay actually for me, because then I'm at least second. And depending on how things go, we want to become the king of Jerusalem, right? I mean, that's not really very, very difficult to time actually. Everyone is thinking the same thing, and as for in a multiplayer game, this is really now a nail biter. Here in this AI, they're simply drawing their cards, of course, but yeah, I like that. Okay, the church is pleased with your progress in the Holy Land and lets you use its influence the next time you marry. Your next marriage attempt will automatically succeed. Save this card as a reminder. Okay, nice. But this basically ends the round and the era. First of all, we are ending the round, so I will definitely pay my upkeep here. We have to add age tokens, but the only family where it does matter right now, will simply still do that, of course, is Spain, because they are now allowed to remove one red token from their trade bag here, and I will simply keep drawing until I find they should have more than enough, and I think I will go for a standard one. Come on, I think I have here is the ugly one. We are putting it back. Okay, that definitely did work for Spain. Next, we will remove all those folks here from the neutral territories, and we'll bring out new ones, and I think this is something I will do now off camera. So here are the new ones. We have at least 2 green tokens out, and I'm second, which means I could really get Agnes if I'm lucky enough. That's definitely cool. That's definitely cool. We also have to replace the development cards down here. So those are the new ones, the library, the royal guard, and the longbow. We know them all already. I think every card is in there twice, and I actually do have the miniatures for those, which will do look like this, and they will certainly help you to remember a lot of these things, but there are also some additional rules for that. But again, I'm not playing with those in this playthrough here. And that's basically it. And for whatever reason, I thought this unrest would also go away at the end of the round. But I think I'm confusing this with Wallenstein, actually, where I think they really are getting removed at the end of a round or so. Also great game, by the way. And I think, yeah, that's really it for this era. So I will definitely prepare for the next era to come, which could be a relatively short one. So if the AI players are basically with their first 2 actions go for Crusade and are successful, then the game will be over right away. And it's really looking close. So I'm definitely intrigued to keep going, unless you are telling me you're no longer interested in me, in seeing me playing this game to the bitter end. It's okay-ish. I think there is a good, both Italy and Germany, or the Germanic states, are in an okay shape. I mean, even down here in Iberia, they are looking pretty much okay. Maybe because I cheated a little bit. I think we have to play them a little bit more aggressive, at least, if the position allows them to do. I think they still have a territory down here which they might want to go after in a later action. And yeah, so far I really do like the game. Yeah, I get it that some of the, let's say, AI decision paths are a little bit too much up for interpretation, analyzing the board state, but on the other hand, yeah, you could go through a very complex kind of flow chart, like similar to the bots in, what is it, the coin games, for example. But then really the individual turns of each of those players could take you an incredible amount of time. So in this case, if you know the game a little bit, then I think you can do let's say a somewhat more informed decision. Again, I haven't played the multiplayer game almost over 2 years, since over 2 years. So I'm really not an experienced player by any means anymore. Again, when it came out and also the time afterwards, really played it quite a bit actually. Pretty much lost sight of things, but again, playing this solo now sparks my interest again to keep playing this game, maybe especially focusing on the multiplayer part of things, and definitely you should really go then for a 5 full player game. 4 I think is okay if you do something like this. Of course, you could have also decided not to play with Italy or with Spain and adding in England, for example. That's a little bit up to you. 4 is really the minimum here, I would think. 5 is ideal. And yeah, also in lower player counts, you can add those bot players, the AI players. So let's say you are 4 human players and you want a 5th player, then you can say, yeah, let's assign, I don't know, England now to an AI player. But again, could be pure chaos because he could do really stuff to the France player here in the center. Not quite sure if that is something that your group enjoys or not. Anyway, huge shout out to all of my patrons and channel members out there. Really do appreciate all your support. If you want to support my little show channel here, you will find me on Patreon. Join me here on YouTube. Click that little thanks button for a small or not so small donation. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. This also greatly helps the channel. And yeah, with that being said, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And until then, bye bye.